today we're plunging into Francis Ford Coppola's 1974 masterpiece, The Conversation. A really fascinating, kind of frightening world.
It really is.
And for those of you maybe catching up, this is a film that's, widely seen as a high point of 70s cinema. Gene Hackman's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it often seems to sit in the shadows of, well, its historical neighbors, doesn't it?
It does.
So the big question right off the bat is, how does a film this acclaimed end up being sort of famous and overlooked at the same time?
Well, it seems like it's purely down to timing and just overwhelming competition, really.
Okay.
This picture, it came out smack in the middle of the whole Godfather phenomenon.
Right.
So just 2 years after the first one, and the exact same year as The Godfather Part 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it was basically sandwiched between these two cinematic mountains.
So yeah, most viewers, probably even today, just think of it as like a footnote to those big mob saga.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what's really crucial here, I think, is the context.
Yeah.
The Conversation was the passion project Coppola got to make because the first Godfather was such a massive success.
Ah, right. So that gave him that rare thing in Hollywood.
Total artistic freedom.
Yeah.
And financial freedom, too.
So this film is pretty much his unchecked vision.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
its relevance today, you see it in its high ratings. It comes from its depth, not really spectacle.
Okay.
So our mission, sort of, for this deep dive is to uncover why this film about arguably the world's best eavesdropper, why it works by showing he's completely deaf to his own life.
That's a great way to put it, that contradiction. It's the perfect lens, really.
Mhm.
So let's unpack that. This architecture of paranoia, starting with the man himself, Harry Call, Gene Hackman,
Right.
surveillance expert in San Francisco. He's the elite, the top guy, lives and breathes the art of snooping.
He is, yes, supposedly the best in the business. But what's fascinating right away is how his professional mastery is built on this profound personal isolation. Harry's solitary. He's reserved. He actively tries to disappear from the very world he's monitoring. His relationships are almost non-existent.
He seems to just meticulously compartmentalize everything, every part of his life.
Yeah, totally. There's a detail that really drives this home.
What's that?
Well, Harry goes to these almost absurd lengths for privacy, but it comes out in these really troubled ways.
Okay.
He keeps his telephone locked in a drawer. He avoids face-to-face contact whenever he possibly can.
Right.
And his work relationship with his associate Stan John Cazale plays him. It's purely transactional.
All business.
Strictly all business. No emotional connection. He sees emotions as, like, a security risk.
But hang on, if he's the elite, the master of security, how can the sources describe him as, quote, a bit sloppy with regard to his own security? That seems like a huge paradox.
That's where it gets really interesting, because his external expertise, it just masks this internal chaos.
How so?
Well, he leaves his apartment totally accessible to his landlord. His own girlfriend calls him out for spying on her. And, maybe the most damning thing, he gets successfully bugged himself.
Wait.
By a competitor.
Yeah.
At a party.
No way. So he knows the rules better than anyone?
But he breaks them constantly when it comes to himself. It's bizarre.
So is that subconscious, do you think? Is he sort of...
And they're trying to capture a conversation between this young man and woman. It's 1974, remember, so they're using directional mics, hidden mics, custom gear.
state of the art for the time.
Absolutely. Advanced synchronizing techniques. The genius of it is how they piece together these tiny fragments of sound. It shows you surveillance isn't neat. It's meticulous, difficult work.
It's like a technical ballet, almost, recovering that sound. But then Harry gets the tapes back to his workshop, his little bunker.
Yeah, his cramped workshop. And he starts processing them, cleaning them up. And that's when the meaning starts to shift.
And his personal history comes crashing in.
Precisely. The recording, once he cleans it up, it strongly suggests the couple that's Frederick Forrest and Cindy Williams are about to be, quote, found out and killed.
Okay, high stakes.
Very.
Yeah.
But this isn't just another job for Harry. He's carrying this trauma from a previous job he did back east.
Ah, the incident he never talks about.
Right. An operation where the people he recorded ended up dead. And it haunts him.
So that past tragedy, it's not just background, it's the psychological key to the whole film.
Totally. It's the ghost in his machine. That experience fundamentally fractured him.
How so?
Before that, maybe he saw himself as just a technician. Afterwards, he became like a reluctant participant in tragedy. He carries this immense guilt.
And now, with this new tape.
He fears history is repeating itself. And he feels compelled to intervene to protect this new couple. Which means breaking his cardinal rule. Never get involved.
Let's shift focus a bit to the cinematic context. The conversation is often called a prime example of the new Hollywood movement. For anyone unfamiliar, what does that actually mean? How does this film fit?
Okay, so New Hollywood, roughly late 60s, early 80s,
Hmm.
was defined by director control, auteur control.
Coppola having the power.
Exactly. Final cut, lots of freedom. This led to more mature films, complex, often cynical, big focus on character studies, ambiguous endings, moving away from those predictable studio formulas.
And this film feels like the definition of that kind of cerebral cinema. There's almost no conventional action, is there?
Very little. The viewer is forced to listen, to concentrate. You become like a secondary eavesdropper yourself, which is pretty unusual for a thriller.
It really demands your attention.
Your active participation, yeah. It completely avoids those typical thriller plot points. Cab A fits slot B.
Right.
The tension isn't from chases or fights. It's from interpretation. You're right there with Harry, playing that tape over and over, trying to figure out what a few ambiguous words really mean.
And this kind of intense cerebral approach, it really only works because of the actor at the center of it all. Hackman's performance is just phenomenal.
Oh, it's superb. It's an incredible task, making such a reserved, antisocial character compelling.
Yeah.
And as a viewer, you're constantly pulled back and forth. 1 minute you're rooting for him to save the couple,
Mm-hmm.
and the next you're kind of repulsed by his isolation, his antisocial actions. That complexity keeps you off balance.
Never get comfortable with him.
Never. And while it's so focused on Harry, we do get these brief, important glimpses of the other side. The powerful people who hire him, the client, his assistant.
Right, the supporting cast, they provide that context, don't they? This sort of opaque power structures Harry's trying to hide from.
Exactly. Harrison Ford, pretty early in his career here, he's excellent as this nameless, very slick personal assistant to the client.
Very smooth, very unsettling.
Yeah. And the client himself, that's Robert Duvall in a tiny but really intimidating cameo.
Just radiating menace.
Right. These roles, they're not just trivia. They represent the powerful bureaucratic forces that Harry fears. The corporate or political entities always watching, always listening. The very people Harry gives the tools to invade privacy.
Okay, let's dive into a technical detail that really lifts this film, the sound design. Our sources call it exceptional, a proper 5-star job. What makes it so brilliant? How does it push the plot forward?
Well, the sound design isn't just about getting clean recordings. It's the actual mechanism of the paranoia in the film.
What do you mean?
The brilliance is how repeated listening changes the meaning of the recording. Harry plays that tape again and again.
Obsessively.
Obsessively. And the conversation that maybe first sounded like a simple affair, maybe planning a meetup, it starts to sound really ominous.
Can you give us a specific example, that key line everyone talks about?
Yeah, the line, he'd kill us if he got the chance. The ambiguity is everything.
Okay.
Depending on how Harry hears it, or how we hear it through his processing, is the emphasis, he'd kill us, suggesting the couple is in danger from the he.
Right.
Or is it, he'd kill us if he got the chance, which could imply the he is someone else entirely, maybe the client they're discussing.
So the emphasis completely flips the meaning.
Completely. Those subtle shifts in tone and vocal stress, engineered by Walter Murch and the sound team, they change the entire stakes of the film and drive Harry deeper into his paranoia. The ambiguity of the audio is the mystery.
That's fascinating. And connecting that technical genius back to the bigger picture, there's that external historical context Coppola tapped into, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. You have to consider that. Analysis often places the conversation right in that wave of paranoia thrillers that came out just after Watergate.
Right, the timing again, but in a different way.
Exactly. The American public in the mid-70s had just learned that the government was using the exact tools Harry Call masters, electronic surveillance, for political dirty tricks.
So the film wasn't just a thriller, it was tapping into a real immediate cultural anxiety, mistrust of institutions, of technology.
Precisely. It showed the human cost of that surveillance, turning the master wiretapper himself into a victim of his own craft, his own paranoia.
It's kind of the ultimate statement on how corrosive that technology can be.
It is. Harry builds his whole career on separating himself from the human results of his work. But the film ultimately traps him. It shows he can't insulate himself from the world he observes.
And that final sequence.
Yeah, where the camera itself becomes a surveillance device trained just on him in his destroyed apartment. He's become the subject.
So bringing this all together then, we've got a film that, yeah, it was overshadowed by giants.
But it achieved its own classic status because it resonates so deeply.
Yeah.
Internally, with Harry's breakdown, and externally with the post-Watergate mood.
Right. It really shows the strength of that new Hollywood approach, focusing not just on what happens, but on how a character processes what they see, or in this case, what they hear.
It forces you, the listener, the viewer, to put in the work.
You have to listen, you have to think, you have to question Harry's reliability. Is he hearing what's really there or what he fears is there?
His isolation, his fear, his self-sabotage, that's what gives the film its lasting power.
Exactly. It's not about easy answers.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Harry Cole is obsessed with being the best in his field, utterly dedicated professionally.
Right.
Yet he's completely incapable of securing his own life. He's sloppy enough for a rival to bug him at a party. His landlord has a key. His phone's in a drawer.
Yeah, all those contradictions. So is this profound professional contradiction maybe a reflection of his deep guilt? Does Harry Cole, maybe subconsciously, leave the door unlocked, hoping he'll eventually be exposed, hoping he'll have to pay the price for the tragedies he helped create back east?
That's a heavy thought to end on.
Something to think about. We'll leave it there for you.